Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You are with Garrett, Mendez, and Zack, Hillman.
Hey, everybody.
I hope-
Looking real prepared over here.
I hope everybody is feeling like a plant mom
Yeah.
or a
This
plant
is-
dad.
This is all my wife. My wife, she keeps buying plants, and I keep buying guitars.
That's good. That's good.
And it's not fair at all. The plants are way more affordable, and they make the place nicer.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, you wanna be able to just love on that. Love
Yeah.
on that.
You know, they're giving us that they're giving us oxygen, right? They're taking the carbon dioxide. They're turning it. I did not fail 6th grade science.
That is
I
true.
did
That is
not.
true. And also in turn, we can give them part of the photosynthesis process by providing them carbon dioxide.
Yeah, that comes out of our lungs.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
why
so
when
sorry.
you talk
I just
to
got
plants,
really.
it's good for plants. Yeah.
I got really scared that I didn't.
Wait,
win-
quick,
get
Garrett.
an
What's a
A.
mitochondrion?
Oh, it produces all the ATP for a cell. All right, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen.
No,
I
that's
think
a midichlorian. People get those two confused all the time. Don't worry. Don't worry, you're not alone.
I think that's perfect times. I think that's
I
the
think-
perfect.
That's the perfect everything. Do you want me to get a little more light in the back here so that people can see our faces?
Can we get
I
some
can
more
do-
light?
yeah,
Oh
hold
my
on. I'm
God.
gonna do
Well, this is
one thing.
perfect.
Why don't you stall for time? Tell people about how you lost your virginity. Go.
Oh, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. So, it was a dark and wet night. I wouldn't say stormy, but there was rain and there was magic in the air for everybody. But in all seriousness, let's talk about the first time that we lost our innocence, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're not often thinking about that first time that we lost who we originally were, at least in our parents' eyes. I'm sure that we can all vouch for who we used to be.
That's better. That's better.
This looks
People
great.
can see our faces now,
Yeah.
and they
this is much better.
understand why it was such a cold, dark, stormy night when you lost your virginity.
Yeah, you can see the dark
That's-
features that I have. You can see that I
When
am.
did Don Rickles show up? Okay. Garrett, you ready to groove with me a little
I'm
bit?
ready to groove with you, Dr. Zack.
Yeah. You wanna start this off with a little music? You wanna start us off with some of your thoughts?
Folks, let's hear it from Mr. Zack Hillman.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. So, I've been thinking a lot about the cures that people who aren't doctor come up with for a disease, you know? Like, there's people out here that are informing themselves, and then they're trying to use that information, regardless of how they ascertained the information, as if it applies universally to all situations. Like, I don't know if you guys, like, I have a lot of friends with depression, and people have some funny cures for depression out there in the world that, to me personally, sound way worse than actual clinical depression. Like, depression sounds like I just couldn't get out of bed and I didn't even eat. Some parts of the world, people would pay thousands of dollars for that yoga retreat. You know what I'm saying? But like people's cures for depression, it's always like, yeah, I just jog every 37 minutes regardless of what my body's telling me or whether I've slept or defecated in the last 3 days, and I feel fucking great. I think it's just, we're so fucking extreme, you know? We never want to just change like one little thing. We're never like, oh, I'll just jog once a week. I'll start easy. People are either like, no, I'm either completely not into magic or I'm David Copperfield. There's no fucking in between for people. We have no sense of moderation, no sense of internal control. I'll share a little bit about myself just so you guys can get to know me a little better. I suffer from hungry boy syndrome. That's right. I saw Phantom Thread. That mushroom omelet looked delicious. I will puke after I eat it. I don't give a shit, okay? Oh. If you're listening, Paul Thomas Anderson, I know that Daniel Day-Lewis quit on you, and I'm here to say, find someone better than me to take over all his roles. I cannot step into those shoes. I'm not ready. I can't even live up to my father's legacy, and he was a crack-smoking philanderer. So, hey. But I'll share with you guys, I suffer from systemic lupus, This is a disease that very briefly, it means my own immune system can't tell what's a cold, what's a flu, and what's a kidney. That's right. My kidneys are on the menu for my fucking T cells, okay? That's not fucking cute right there, right? But it's fine. But I'm doing fine. I have a doctor. The doctor gives me medication, and I still have both of my kidneys, and it's great. I eat ice cream when I want, not all the time, but occasionally. I quit smoking, but that was good. I had to do that anyway. So, it's fine. It's all good. But people have such fucking solutions, man. And they're never like reasonable solutions. They're never like, oh, you should go to a hospital. You should talk to a specialist. They're always like, you should give up cheese. You know what would cure you? If you quit cheese. Cold turkey. I don't know. I'd be sitting there and they'd be like, you should try giving up dairy. I'd be like, that's cute, but I'm going to keep taking the steroids that my doctor prescribed me. He was in a lab coat and you are wearing a poncho. I think, not to stereotype, but I try to avoid medical advice from people in ponchos, just as a rule. There's only two things you can really do to prevent having a lupus outbreak. You just stay out of the sun and you try and get more sleep. So this motherfucker, he knew that I couldn't go to the beach anymore. He knew that I couldn't party all night anymore. And he was like, you know what, motherfucker? I'm going to take fucking quesadillas from you too. This sack of shit. He was like, oh, hey, you thought you were miserable? Just wait until you can't even enjoy nachos. This motherfucker. No fucking thank you. It's all right. Life is sparkly. You don't always have to take everyone's advice. Isn't that right, Garrett Mendez?
That is correct. That is absolutely correct. I think we've all been lost before, and I think we've all been found before. I think we've been found in different places that we're not looking to be lost at. I for one feel very, very guilty about the woman I scared at Disneyland. Okay, let me explain. All right, I was at Disneyland. I was young. I was a child, and I was not unaccompanied. Okay, I was with my mother, and I thought, as a jovial jest, I thought I'd scare her from behind. Only to find out that right outside of the Haunted Mansion, because she didn't ride it, she decided to set that one out. Got off the ride, I saw a woman who looked exactly like the mom. But I scared her. I scared a woman. I scared a strange woman. I came up right from behind her. She was wearing. My mom was wearing the same outfit as this. It was the standard issue mom. Okay, just like white shirt with the jeans. And that's the Disneyland go-to. At least. So I totally scared a woman. frightened woman with who just looked exactly like my mom from behind, only to turn around and just, you know, the whipping around that, like as if the worst thing was ever gonna happen to her at Disneyland, like as if like that was gonna be the first murder on file at Disneyland. No one's allowed to die at Disneyland. I'm sure we all knew that. But now it's just so. So, I was afraid of things in my closet. I thought things would pop out of my closet. I thought things would come out. I thought it was a place, you know, kind of like algae. I thought things would just grow, you know, manifest from clothing. You know, because clothing kind of, you know, you found out about moths. You found out about clothing moths, and you know, at least that was like a prevalent issue. You know, with just a lot of moths going in and eating clothes, which it doesn't happen if you have a good sweater, but a strong sweater. But the scariest thing that could ever grow outside of, you know, outside of the norm in a closet would be eyes. What would you do if you saw eyes coming out of your closet? I'd be frightened, but not only that, but I would throw. I would turn back. I would revert to like old times, and I would spear. You know, I'd find anything. I'd find a selfie stick, an old selfie stick, maybe an old tripod or something like that. Start just reinventing the game with spears. You got to spear. Man, I wish that home economics would actually teach you something. You know, because we had home economics in middle school and in high school. It was sewing. It was a lot of sewing. And I tell you, I mean, I'm grateful I can sew buttons now, you know, without fear, but god dang, like, it's like, it was like advanced statistics, you know, it's like, this is a really cool skill, but like, hey, what about taxes? Who's ever gonna just take the time to just explain taxes to me? Just be like, this is coming up, starting when you're 18 years old, for the rest of your life, you're just gonna do this. Once a year, you have to reevaluate your financial choices. Maybe then, that would help homelessness just a little bit. Just a little bit. I don't know. There's so many things that cause homelessness. And none of them is puppies. None of it is puppies. Like, we'll give a dog a home. Well, I feel like we give most dogs homes. Because, I mean, that was like a whole thing. Everybody was just like, I gotta get a dog. Gotta get a dog. Very strange. That's how it goes. Oh boy. And oh girl. And oh they. And okay. Would it be unwelcome if the pasta came to your dish and from the dish to your table? Would it be unwelcome if a pasta was too cheesy? Is there a thing that's too cheesy of a pasta? I dare you to look mac and cheese in the eye and say, could pasta be too cheesy? Say it. Yeah. Absolutely. It can be too cheesy, okay? When you start getting too ricotta-y, too burrata-y, okay, because the ricotta, it's like a soft little crumble, but it's hardly a crumble because it's like it's a little bit of a mushy crumble. Whereas, if you sort of try to do blue cheese, something way thicker, or burrata, which is more of like a gelatinous burrata, the gummy bear of all cheeses. I just hope you all work in a restaurant at least once in your life. It's not a threat. I'm just saying, I hope we all gain the perspective of somebody in the service industry at some point in time. Rise up and find out who you are. Dr. Zack, do you have any anything to add about commerce, maybe, or
about commerce? I mean, I do.
Capitalism, maybe. I don't know.
I do. This is pretty salient, pretty germane to the topic at hand. But I mean, I think it's important that we constantly remind ourselves that homelessness is an option. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people talk about how, like, you don't want to wind up homeless. You gotta get a job or else you'll be homeless. You gotta have a support system or else you're gonna be homeless. What the fuck is wrong with being homeless? There's so many fucking homeless people. If there's something wrong with people being homeless, why is it still happening? Why is it still going on? Dude, like, is it one of those things like drug addiction or war where we just say it's a bad thing, but secretly, like, we're really beating off to it behind closed doors? Just the fact that we have homes and there are people who don't? I mean, because, like, here's the fucking thing. They're making homes all the time. And those shits ain't cheap. So if we're gonna be constantly providing a stream of homes, and we're not going to let the people who don't have them live in them, we are the ones creating the homelessness, right? There are more people than places. There is space for all of the people. How do I know? Because they're here right now. There is space on this earth for all of the people. The reason they are not homed is because we choose to make it unobtainable so that we can go into the dark little corners of our 6-bedroom mansions and just beat off to that shit. We're just sitting there in our 4-car garages being like, someone's sleeping in a sleeping bag tonight. Yeah. I got central air, and some dickwad with mental health issues is sweating his fucking balls off in the middle of mid-city. That's right. That's what capitalism breeds. It's not competition, it's contempt. It's evil. It's inflicting pain upon our fellow man. That's what capitalism has really brought to our society. And I mean, like, I guess I'm no better or worse than anybody else. I ate 2 donuts today. That's like as many calories as the entire continent of Africa consumes in a decade. Like, I have to come back to my other point. There's no moderation. There's no in between. You're either homeless, sweating your balls off on San Vicente Boulevard, or you're just a big old lard-ass ne'er-do-well eating donuts in the fucking office because it's the only thing that makes you mildly happy at your job. Let me ask you a question. The people who say you don't want to be homeless, are they happy? Are they happy? Do they make people happy? Can a house solve the problems inside of you that you've had your entire life, that you've always run from, that were instilled in you by your parents, and you've never been able to solve. Somehow you think a fucking building's gonna solve those problems? Like, maybe you should try homelessness, man. Homelessness, it's an option. It's a great option. I mean, most of us are confined by the quote-unquote need to poop in a toilet, or to wipe our butts, or take our pants off before we defecate. A lot of poop stuff. There's a lot of poop rules. Think about it. Think about it. When have you ever been glad to poop in a toilet? When have you ever been excited about wiping your own ass? There are homeless people right now who are living the freedom that you are afraid to wrest out of this dull and hollow life that you've crafted for yourself, all because you have convinced yourself in the trappings of material and status that you need a home, you need to live somewhere, you need to be something. No, you don't. No, you fucking don't. If you have a home and a job and all these things, you're still going to die and be forgotten. Even, who was the most famous guy in 1600? Like fucking John Smith? King George of England? Who? You don't even know? That was the most famous guy in a century. You don't give a shit about him. Think about it. If he might as well have been a homeless guy in the 16th century. And that's the beauty of it. Why not be a homeless guy right now? Why not cut out the middleman? Why not embrace the meaninglessness of existence now and live toilet paper free? That's all I'm saying to you people. But again, who am I to judge? Because I have a $300 bidet in my house, and I would not live without that shit. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. That is the donut of butthole blasts. It's pretty amazing, you guys. It's pretty fucking good. And after talking so much about defecation, I'm reminded of my best friend, my close mentor, and a guy who likes to twiddle the knobs from time to time, Mr. Garrett Mendez. Do you have any thoughts that you'd like to add on here?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think we're just learning so much, just about each other, and just about just how society works. If I were going to expatriate, if I were going to bounce out of this country, I highly recommend taking a peek over at the Netherlands. That's right, home of Amsterdam, home of Rotterdam, home of a lot of the dams, if you will. It's a big river city. A lot of rivers, a lot of canals hanging out in the Netherlands. You know what's really cool about certain parts of the Netherlands is that people have the right of way. That means people are more important than cars. So if you ever want to buy me something for Christmas and we're in the Netherlands, make sure to buy me a new person. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. Absolutely not. Okay, slavery is not cool. We learned that back in 1861. Well, some of us learned. I think that's a hard truth that some people need to realize, is that when you love something too much, and maybe it consumes you, maybe you love your country too much, and it's going to consume you to the point that it hurts. Maybe just for a second, maybe we don't love something so much that it consumes you, Same thing could be said about, let's say you're in middle school or at high school or something, and you have your first girlfriend or boyfriend, and you find yourself in a relationship for the first time, maybe possibly in love. My biggest piece of advice is don't make your entire world about that person. It is good to revere somebody lovingly, respectfully. But what I am seeing in so many young love and foolish love and people who have high expectations, and it's not just the Disney story of you know what I'm saying? It's not the Prince Charming, it's the princess story. This isn't happy ever after. No, you have got to find yourself in love with yourself. Really, be a narcissist. Be selfish. You have to, in order to be properly in tune with what's good for you and what's bad for you. Because people can be toxic, okay? It's not just because the fact that they like you doesn't. Don't settle. Don't settle for someone who just likes you. Fall in love with somebody who sees more than just Adventure Times. Because everyone's great mood during vacation when you don't have to work or there's no school or something like that, but you gotta face the fact that maybe people aren't good for each other. You gotta be good for each other. Everyone's gotta be solid for each other. So I bring it back to don't get caught up. Don't make your entire world about somebody else. Okay? Because if you're just waiting 3 hours for them to be done with something, and that's your whole day is you're just waiting for somebody else. That is not how an epic story is told. Okay, it's Frozen wasn't awesome because Elsa was waiting outside for 3 hours, or all day and saying, "Great, I hope your day was great. How was it? What'd you do?" Have your own interesting life. I should have led with that. Have your own interesting life, people. Be your own interesting person. So that means, take the nerd route of it, is that just pick one thing to be randomly good at, okay? Because even if it's like boring to become something really good at something, it's something to talk about at a party. Whoa. I like things to talk about at a party. Don't you? I hope you find things to talk about at a party. I hope you do too. Talk about YouTube. Or talk about YouTube. Or talk about Mewtwo, the Pokemon. Everybody, face your fear. Go to that party. Share something about yourself. Not just some other bullshit, not some other video you saw on YouTube. No, talk about what makes you special. What makes you you? Heck yeah. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, I think this has been really cute. I hope you guys don't get in any fights. Don't be nice to each other out there, keep everybody fun. I hope everybody is strapped in at home. Just a final word about space. I personally am very afraid of space travel. Knowing that there's a lot of space junk out there, and they're all just kind of like nuts and bolts and stuff like that, and like broken pieces of like solar panels and stuff like that, are just like floating throughout space, like going supposedly like 200 miles an hour or something like that. I would hate to die from a bolt going 200 miles an hour. Okay. Same thing with like a tornado. You know, like I don't want to die in a tornado. I don't want to die from a piece of wood being hit. Come on. No, I want to go out like everybody else. Okay. Mafia in an alleyway. Okay. That's just. I am assuming we're all trying to aim for that type of status in life. Kill me in an alleyway, and I want witnesses, several witnesses, and somebody avenge me. It doesn't have to be everybody. Just one person. Avenge me. Zach, do you have any avenging words? Do you have any Mormons? No, do you have any avenging words?
I would probably just have to say, guys, the lasagna's not worth it, okay? The lasagna's not worth it.
Yeah.
I think, speaking of food, I just feel that we've gotten to this place as a society. It's like everything we have tastes like a different thing. You know what I mean? Like you guys wandered the Oreo aisle. And when I say aisle, I mean like library. The Oreo library. Because those motherfuckers make just about every flavor of Oreos except for regular Oreos anymore. Like you got red velvet cake Oreos, carrot cake Oreos, mint Oreos, candy corn Oreos, root beer float Oreos, apple pie Oreos, key lime pie Oreos, pumpkin spice Oreos, peanut butter Oreos, chocolate Oreos, chocolate peanut butter Oreos, chocolate mint Oreos dipped in chocolate, regular Oreos dipped in white chocolate. What are we doing here? Watermelon Oreos? Come on, man. How they must know that nobody wants it. Who's asking for these things? Whoever put a fucking Oreo in their mouth and was like, I wish this tasted like beef Wellington. You know? You guys hit it out of the park with Oreo. Why are you killing it? Why? Why are you doing that? I like to imagine that there's a man who works at the Oreo farm because I've decided that they're a free range crop. And his whole job is probably just thinking of new Oreos, and he's probably just like so tapped out, you guys. Like, he's been working 16-hour days for the past 9 years. Like, he has kids that are definitely not his, and he's just paying the child support at this point because his wife has left him to go bone the Dominican man that she met on her girls' retreat, you know? I mean, like, this poor guy, he's probably just sitting there, and he's just like, pancake batter? Oreos? I don't know. What do you want from me? I feel for that man. I really do. I want to help him out. I think if he wants to lose his job and reclaim his life, there's one thing that he could suggest, and it would really just completely kill all of the credibility that he's built up. Cookies and cream Oreos, everybody. Cookies and cream Oreos. I just want him to pitch that in the board meeting And they'd be like, so Oreos? And he'd be like, no, they're Oreos, but they're flavored like cookies and cream. What are you not comprehending about this? So does the cream have little bits of the cookie in it? Yes, and the cookie has little bits of the cream in it. What's so hard to understand about this? And you'd just get it home and you'd open the box and it'd just be a bunch of Oreo crumbles on your countertop. And then you'd snort it because that's what we'd all do. We're Americans. We're disgusting. You know, I understand. I get it. You know how else he could lose his job? What would be the real tip? If he just walked into the board meeting with the Oreo CEO and he'd be like, hey guys, how's it going? Fuck Hydrox, right? Hey, here's my idea for a new flavor. People. The deadliest game. People. I mean, I know that sounds disgusting, but I have to believe that more people would buy the people flavored Oreos than would buy the watermelon flavored Oreos. You know? like, ugh. Watermelon? That's a completely different texture. That's not it. Oh. But people, I've never had anything remotely resembling people that I've eaten. Maybe I should try those Oreos. What if I like it? What if I like it and then I can live on the road? Experience the life that I never got to experience in those long 16-hour days working at the Oreo farm. Maybe I can chase my dream and finally eat my ex-wife and her Dominican lover. Maybe I could eat these bastard children that clearly aren't mine. Maybe I can... Okay, Jeff. This board meeting has gone way off the rails. Do you have any other ideas for Oreo flavors? Yeah, what about just cream cheese frosting and then the regular cookies? What about that? Yeah, no, that's great. We'll do that, not the people. Okay. Somebody get Jeff a mental health eval. Yeah. So you guys know how it is when you have a bit that ends on like a long cannibalism screed. You're just kind of hanging out there in the ether, like, you know, I played the cannibalism card. Is anyone on board? Does anyone want to like hang out with me after this and maybe talk about people that we need ideally? I think Gordon Ramsay would be delicious. I mean, you know, just saying. But I mean, I've never eaten a person, but if there's one man that I think is the perfect snack, that would be my good friend, close compatriot, and dude that's never had a pregnancy scare, Garrett Mendez. Have you ever had a pregnancy scare?
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, have I had a pregnancy scare?
I think we've all had pregnancy scares.
And that is that you wouldn't have lived through college if you haven't had a pregnancy scare.
I don't know why we all assume just like, hey, you were on the pill, right? Like, why didn't we ask that question beforehand? You know, it's a reasonable question.
It's not even that. It was just. It's, I mean, there's that too, but there's the other angle to it of just like, people have been careful, but then it's been a while since the period.
Yeah. And you're worried that you're that like 0.1%.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
that
or the 0.01. I think it's like even, it's even less.
Condoms are reliable.
We're always worried.
They're fairly reliable.
This got so real. This just got so real towards the end.
Yeah, I'm so glad that I decided to land on an uplifting note after talking about cannibalism. I really brought up the energy in the room.
Just a horrifying moment of like, I need you to go to CVS.
Yeah.
And you have to just come back with a test.
Yeah.
And that test better work. And we're gonna, it's a 2-pack, so we're gonna do both.
I don't think I had one where the girl didn't even get a test. She was just like, I'm just going to take plan B.
Okay. Wow.
And I was like, do you want me to go in and buy it for you? And she was like, no, I'll go. You can sit in the car. And I was like, good, because I'm ashamed.
I need to sit here in shame.
I am not mature enough for this situation.
Well,
This should come with a TV 13 rating right now.
This is a mature conversation.
This is a very mature conversation.
This is a very mature scenario to be involved in.
We talked about people-flavored Oreos. We talked about broken condoms. We talked about scaring people at Disneyland.
Scaring people.
Oh my goodness. What do you think was the big through line for this episode?
My gosh. I think I noticed that there's just a lot of feelings around being fed up.
Yeah.
Being kind of I've had it up to here.
There's a lot of frustration in the world.
Yeah. A lot of frustration in the world. Don't want to be.
I think there's a theme of I expected my life to be one way and it is not that way. You know?
Oh, right.
The shock of the humdrum.
Yeah.
The hoi polloi boys over here.
There's definitely and taking things for granted.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people are taking things for granted out there, so that's not.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah, don't take things for granted. This life is precious, and if you haven't done it, try a people Oreo. They're surprisingly sweet.
There was a lot of talk of like people because I talked about slavery and how
using people as a raw material.
Using people as a raw
commerce.
material, yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, profiting off of people's backs.
Yes. Yeah, the homelessness thing too.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But I mean, that's what we do here. We like to shout into the void.
Absolutely.
Keep it fresh and funky.
Absolutely. I'm Garrett Mendez, and you can follow me online. This is Zack Hillman.
You can follow me online.
Can you what? I didn't see that part coming at all.
I've got an internet now.